something like that. It was funny.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not really bad. They just drew me that way. Oh, shit. Again, we kind of deviated from the topic. I used to believe in cartoons, and that's one thing I did believe in when I was a kid. Bugs Bunny.
Well, you couldn't have been much worse off than believing in anything today that anyone's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
But it's like, so like what kind of stuff are you fed through the news that you can trust? Like if you see, Bezos sent a rocket into space and it came back. Can you believe that to be true?
Normally. The regular news that just says this happened. Okay. You believe it's happened. It's as soon as they put a political agenda onto that issue, then all of a sudden you're skeptical. You know, it's the political diarrhea. I love that term. That goes with the additional crap, diarrhea crap, with something in there. But no, that's what dissuades people. It's like, does this happen? But is it your viewpoint? It happened because of this or in this way, or you know, you're leaning the story a certain way, you know, with your own political agenda. Or propaganda, trying to push some narrative. That's the problem, and they push the narratives, you know. So that's where everybody falls in disbelief, and when they feel that you're just shoving something down our throat, and not just telling objectively what the hell's going on. So I mean, Elon Musk is shooting up rockets, and they land back down. They land back down. He reuses them. I think they reuse some rockets like. 6-8 times? That's amazing. NASA is just like fall in the ocean. There's another one. Fish house. So
hey, they're just rebuilding the coral reefs. They were just ahead of their time.
Yeah, unfortunately, pretty deep ones. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, the guy's doing amazing stuff, and that kind of stuff I believe. I mean, they shoot at. And then I think everything you see is all the satellites. It's like, I think. Elon's putting up how many Starlink? Starlink, yeah. I mean, there's like thousands of them up there now. It's like a little twinkle, twinkle, little satellite. No more stars. You see so many satellites.
Well, okay, let's go to the satellites for a second. Here's like, check your bullshit-ometer. Okay, yeah. So I read on now. I don't do a lot of internet digging. I'm not into clickbait. It's very rare that I don't follow news stories from someone that I don't recognize as maybe being involved in the news somehow.
Yeah.
You know? So this would have been, I think one of the few newsletter things, like daily update headline things I read is from CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, which used to be modeled on the BBC, which used to be pretty nonpartisan, just, you know, pretty factual.
Yeah.
And they're not too bad. They don't sound too bad yet. But anyway, so the thing they were talking about was they were commenting on an article somewhere, I think the New York Times or somebody was talking about in the States, Space Force.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
They did a TV show or something about that too.
Yeah, actually, and apparently the Space Force personnel are pretty pissed about that because it makes them look stupid. It's like you say, we're in the fucking military. We're trying to keep you guys safe, and you're like laughing. But some of the things that they interviewed one of the spokesperson of some kind there talking about, like you said, the thousands of satellites, but they're talking about how one of the biggest risks out there right now is space junk. Right, there's just so much out there. And it's going so fast. Just imagine if there was one loose screw flying around at 17,500 miles an hour or something, and it hits you or hits what you're doing. It's like, it's bad news. The kinetic energy is like insane.
Yeah.
But then this guy went on to talk about the kinds of things that there's a bit of a space race, arms race in space. Everyone's saying it's supposed to be a peaceful place. Let's not militarize it. But everyone's assuming that the other guy is doing something.
Yep.
So I can't just do nothing, because if I just say I'm all peace and love and rainbows and unicorns, and you're doing something, I'm fucked. And the other guy's saying, well, same thing. So both sides are kind of goading each other. Neither side wants to do it, but each side is doing it because they're saying the other side's going to do it. That's kind of fucked up. But some of the things that he talked about that are out there now, it's like, okay, now, hang on. So let me back this up a little bit. I've been, I'll try and get back to what I was talking about. But I was so happy about the writer's strike, the Hollywood writer's strike recently.
Yeah. Okay.
Because on Netflix and Amazon and the other streaming services, there were so few new programs coming out that they started putting old ones out.
Yeah.
For a long time, I've been wanting to do a James Bond marathon.
Oh, yeah.
But I couldn't find them, couldn't stream them.
Right.
You have to go dig them up on DVD in some used shops.
Yeah,
That's
what
tough.
I did that.
But all of a sudden, boom, a bunch of James Bond, the 007s came out on Amazon.
Moonraker.
So the first one I watched was, I forget which one it was, but I remember it was 1962 was the year.
Okay.
And in that episode, I started looking at it thinking like how little the world has changed to today. They had like supersonic jets. They had nuclear missiles on jets. They had car phones, not the same as your hand phone, but like almost everything that we have, they had. And you're traveling around, you're in this hotel in Delhi and say, I'm going to fucking Rio tomorrow. Book me a flight in a hotel. They book you a flight in a hotel and you go. I mean, the speed changed a little bit, but the things are there. But in one of those, the first 2 or 3 James Bond movies I watched, it was cheesy. The special effects were not quite what they are today, right?
Yeah, of course.
But one thing they had was someone was trying to start a war between the States and Russia by trying to get each one to think the other guy was doing something wrong, right? Kind of like we're talking about now, this space race, arms race is like, we assume you're doing something wrong. And one of the cheesiest things they had was the evil supervillain had a vehicle in space. It would be just a little rocket and it would come and it would open the jaws and swallow the capsule of the other guys and bring them down to Earth and keep them prisoner, but trying to make it look like the other side did it, right? So with all that, right?
Moonraker?
No, I think it was one of the ones before that. But it was anyway, whichever one it was. And then so back to this to the Space Force thing. And the guy, one of the things the guy talked about was that there were, I forget the terminology he used, but basically saying there were space things out there. There were objects out there that are designed to open and swallow just like that thing did.
They probably got from the movie.
I guess.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Then he said and there are things out there with grappling hooks. So as your satellite's flying by, they shoot a grappling hook and fuck up your trajectory, your orbit. Yeah. And it's like, hang on now. Are you telling me for true? There's like fucking satellite eating satellites out there.
There you go.
Fuck? So now, where's your truthometer line go on that one? Is that true? Is it not true? How do you know? How do you figure that out? If you decide you wanted to know, I really want to know.
Yeah.
Are there goblin satellites out there? How the fuck would I even find out?
Who's operating them? There's a guy driving around.
Space Force. Yeah, hey, Space Force. Yeah, how you doing? Yeah, this is wise Charlie. Old bastards. We're just checking.
Charlie, you see that satellite up there? Grab it.
Yeah, prove it. Eat that one.
Eat that guy.
Eat it. Prove it.
But yeah,
I mean, so like.
Yeah, I agree. That's funny. But in reality,
so you did something that's supposedly factual like that. Yeah, it's like, okay, this is not about the those guys built it to do this world domination because they're gonna